planning on getting your visa application started, that is a very good step. And don't worry, I got you covered. All right, I'm going to be with you in every step of this process. Okay, so welcome to my channel. This is Grad Life, and on this channel, I give you information about everything that you need to know about graduate school, how to survive as a graduate student, how to put in a graduate school application, and how to go through your visa application process successfully. So stay tuned. I have a lot of good things for you on this channel. If you are a returning viewer to this channel, I will say thank you for returning to my channel. And if you are a new person, I'll recommend that you subscribe to this channel so you can have access to any of the videos that I'm going to release in the future. All right, so today's video is basically about the DS-160 form, which is the online non-immigrant visa application form that you need to fill as a starter. And this is very important and critical to your visa application process. And because of that, I've decided to take you through this, show you the details, the things that you need to do, and the things that you don't have to do in this form so that you don't get your visa application rejected. Okay, so stay tuned. Let's go through this together. If you have any questions at the end of this video, you can put your comment in the comment section, and I'll address them accordingly. Right, so let's get through this. All right, so what you have to do is to get your browser open. So just a disclaimer here. Some browsers do not really work well with this particular website. I don't really know, but for some reason, when you're using some web browsers, they don't really flow well. I mean, you might end up getting some glitches or some problems with regards to the web page. Okay, how it loads and then how it displays some information um, about this particular form. So what we're going to do is I would recommend that you use Google Chrome, and if you are planning or you want to fill this particular DS-160 form. I know there are other web browsers out there that are really good that can help you with this, but just to let you know, in case you are completing this form online and you realize that your browser is giving you problems, you should know that it is totally normal. All you have to do is try and change it to maybe another browser that might be compatible with this particular website. Okay, so what you gotta do here is to type in the name of the online immigration form that we are looking for, which is DS-160. Okay, so I'm just gonna type that quickly. And usually when you type it in, the first hit that comes is the appropriate one. So I'm just gonna select the first hit over here, and it takes me to this website. Okay, now this is the home page. This is how it looks like. So just take note of it when you are trying it out yourself. You should be looking out for something like this. Okay, now once you are here, what you have to do is you need to create an account or a portal, or let's say a form for yourself. Okay, so in order to create a form, what you have to do is you need to select the country from which you are applying. All right, so the country in which you are going to attend your visa interview, that is the country you need to select. So yeah, you can select the country that applies to you, but for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to select Ghana over here. Where is Ghana? Where is Ghana? Where is Ghana? There you go. Ghana is here. Now, after selecting that, you need to enter this code in this black box over here in order to be able to get access to the form. So I'm just going to enter exactly what is there. I have XXHC, I think. In a situation where the words here are not really clear enough for you, okay, you can always reshuffle using this the arrow here in order to be able to see these words well, and then maybe input the appropriate letters. Okay, so here I'm just going to enter this KKHUHP, I think. Yeah, and once I'm done doing that, I would have to come here and click on start an application. Okay, using the retrieve application is when you are already completing the form and then you are not done. Okay, like you've already created the form, you have access to it, you have uh, your ID that you can always use to retrieve it from the system. That is when you use this. But because this is our first time, you're just going to focus on starting an application. So I'm just going to click on start an application. And it's going to open this communique where you'd have to read and then agree to it. And another most important thing that you have to do on this particular page here is to take note of this application ID. This is the ID that you're going to use to access this form whenever you want to return to it and maybe continue with the application. Okay. Without this code, you cannot access the form that you have created. So I would advise you to write this down somewhere, or you save it just by clicking on print application or something, and then you save it as PDF, or maybe you print it out. Okay. So for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to copy this onto my clipboard, and then later would use it when the need arises. Okay. So just make sure you take note of that. And once you are done on that same page, you would have to answer a certain security question that you would be able to use in order to gain access to this form the next time you want to log in. So here, there are several security questions over here. So you select the one that you think you would remember. Even if you are sleeping and they wake you up, you should be able to answer such a question. All right. So I'm just going to look for one over here, one random one. Maybe I should just select this one. In what city or town was your first job? So I'm just going to click on that, and I'm just going to type a city in Ghana, Accra here. So I'm just going to type Accra, and once I'm done with that, I'll click on continue. Okay, so now the form has been created, but not completely. Just to let you know, when you try to access this form, imagine me exiting from this form right now. If I want to access it again, the information that they are going to request from me would be the first 5 digits of my surname. They will ask me to answer the security question as well as input the application ID. So as I said earlier on, you have to save this application ID somewhere. You also need to remember the answer you gave to the security question as well as your surname. And you realize that when we were doing it, we did not enter anything pertaining to our personal details. This is where you enter something with regards to that. So I would advise you, once you create the form, do not exit. Try as much as possible to complete this first page before you exit for anything. Okay, so here I'm just going to enter surname, just any name for the purpose of this video. I'm just going to enter maybe Doe, and then here I'll enter maybe, let's say, James, or let's say Joe. Yeah, so Joe Doe, something like that. All right, good. So the next thing here, it's asking for my full name in my native alphabet, which does not apply to me. If that applies to you, make sure you complete it. You know, whenever you get to a particular portion and you don't know what to put over there, you can always go to the help section or read exactly what is adjacent to that box so that you know exactly what they're asking for. Okay, so I'm just going to click on that does not apply to me, and read the instructions and then just answer them accordingly. Try as much as possible to answer them as correctly as you can. Okay, and then one thing that you have to take note of is that any information that you give on this platform or in this particular form must be correct and verifiable. Okay, because this is what they are going to be using for your visa application, and if you lie or make any mistakes here, that is not going to go well. Okay, so make sure everything that you every information that you put in here should be accurate and then verifiable in a situation where they need you to verify them. Okay, good. So here, just to answer this quickly, have you ever used other names? I'm just going to say no. Quickly, do you have a telecode that represents your name? And I'm going to say no. If that applies to you, select yes. Just take note of that. And just to let you know, when we talk about telecodes, this is what we mean. So 4-digit code numbers that represent characters in some non-Roman alphabet names. So you just take note of this. As I said earlier on, if you get to a particular box and you don't know anything, you just go to the help box and you read about that. Okay, I'm just going to select sex over here. I'm going to I'm going to select male, as you can detect that from my voice. And then marital status, I'm going to select single. Make sure you select what applies to you. Do not make mistakes over here. If you are married and you select single over here and you get your visa interview and you say something pertaining to marriage which contradicts whatever information you put here, is going to go against you. So make sure you take note of that. All right, so entering a date of birth here. I'm just going to select January, um, whatever, 1st January. Let me enter 1960. Yeah, I'm younger than that. Okay, take note of that actually. Yeah, so after entering that, you just enter the city in which you are currently. I'm just going to enter Ghana, Accra, Ghana. Yeah, and then for the state or province, if that applies to you, you put it in there. If it does not apply to you, then you just click on does not apply. Okay, for those of you in Ghana, you can put your region over here. If you're in Greater Accra, if you're in Volta region, Ashanti region, you can put that's there as your province. Okay, but if it does not apply to you, you can just click on this and then you move ahead. So once you are done filling everything, okay, I would advise you to make sure you click on the save button over here to be able to save whatever you have entered into the system. And anytime you save it, make sure the confirmation page shows. If it doesn't show, then it means there might be something wrong. So you try as much as possible to do that again. If not, the next time you try to open this form, whatever you've entered will be lost. Okay, so make sure you save, click on the save button and confirm that this page is given to you to be able to allow you to move forward with the other parts of the application. Okay, also just to let you know that this page is time bound. Okay, so it's going to log you out after some time, and all you have to do is to get your application ID, which I ask you to record down and answer the security question, and then all the relevant information that they need in order to be able to access the form back. All right, so you would realize that as we fill this form, maybe as we continue to stay on this page, it will get to a time where the system will log us out automatically, right? So all we have to do is just to log in back. Okay, so you don't have to worry in case of such a thing. Now I'm just going to click on continue application. Realize that it takes me back to where I've completed it, and this shows that I've successfully saved everything. Okay, so just to let you know how this is done, I'm just going to exit and then try to come back again. All right, I'm just going to exit this form and then I'll try to access it again with the details that we entered earlier on. So I'm just going to click on DS-160 again. You see it takes me back to the same page. Here I'll select the country that I selected initially, uh, which is Ghana here, and I'm gonna enter this code over here, 5N4D. But then in when I get here this time, I'm not going to click on start an application because I already have a form. All I have to do is click on retrieve application, and I would paste my application ID, what I copied earlier on, and I'll click on retrieve. Now, these are the questions I'm supposed to answer in order to be able to access my form. Okay, so I'm just going to enter the first 5 letters of my surname. Don't worry if your surname is not up to 5 letters. You just have to enter the full surname. That is, if it's not up to 5 letters. Okay, so I'm going to enter. I entered Doe, if you remember, and then my date of birth is year of birth. Actually, I entered 1960, and then in which city or town was my first job. I'm just going to enter Ghana. Sorry, Accra. Yeah, there you go. Good. So you realize that we've successfully accessed our form back. So we're just going to go through all the various parts quickly. Bear it in mind that these are the things you are going to complete. You are going to be completing the travel section, travel companion, all the stuff. And you cannot click or you cannot jump to any section without completing that recent or that immediate section. So you make sure you always complete a section before you try to jump to the other. Okay, that's very important. All right, so here I'm just going to click on next. This is the second aspect of this form, and on this page they are just asking for your personal information, and as I said earlier on, try as much as possible to enter the right information and avoid mistakes. Okay, so country or region, wherever you live, you just have to select your country. Initially I selected Ghana, so I'm just going to select Ghana, and then you read the information, whatever applies to you, you select it accordingly. So do you for this, it says that do you hold or have you held any nationality other than the one indicated above? I'm just going to say no. um, are you a permanent resident of a country that, or other than what you stated? I'm just going to say no. Okay, and then here they will ask you to enter your national identification number. Here, those of you who have national identification numbers, you can input them there. If it does not apply to you, you can just click on does not apply. But if you are in Ghana, you can always put in your Ghana card number here. Okay, your Ghana card number can work perfectly over here, so you can input that there. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to click on does not apply, and I will move on. Now it says that do you have a US social security number? I'm just going to say, don't forget you are applying to the United States. Okay, this particular online non-immigrant visa application form is for the United States, so that is why they're asking you for this. And if you don't have it, you don't have to worry. You just have to click on does not apply. If you don't have the taxpayer ID, still does not apply, and then you move on. Okay, good. Now, you see, I just made a mistake by not saving what I entered earlier on, so I'm just going to move back quickly. And you realize that I cannot move back because I have not completed the information on this page, right? So what we're going to do quickly is to complete this. I'm just going to focus on this. It says that the purpose of my trip. So what am I going to do? Quickly, I'm just going to select the visa that I want. That is the academic or language student. That is for F category. Okay, and then you specify it by selecting F1 if you are the student, if you are the applicant. All right, but if you are applying on behalf of your spouse or maybe your children, then you have to select F2, which is indicated here. But for the purpose of this video, which is for you the student, I'm just going to select student, all right, which is F1. And quickly, have you made any special or any specific travel plans? I would advise you to say no if you are a student. Okay, and once I click on no, they are going to ask me for some details with regards to my intentions. All right, so they ask what is your intended date of arrival, so which time, when do you want to arrive on campus, all right, or in the United States. Okay, here you check your I-20 and look at the arrival date that is stated on the I-20, and then maybe you can either put that arrival date here, or you can maybe make this date like a week earlier, okay, than your arrival date. Okay, so you take note of that. I'm just going to select 2024 January. Now let me make this future, so I'm just going to click on 2025 probably. And then how long are you going to stay in the United States? That is also very important, and you can find all these informations on your I-20, or uh, of course you know the program you are applying for, if it is masters or PhD or whatever length or whatever duration your program has. All you have to do is to put that in here. Okay, so I'm just going to put 5 years here for the purpose of those who might be trying to apply for PhD. I'm just going to put 5 years over here. All right, and yeah, it's going to ask you for some information with regards to where you are going to stay, okay, in the United States. Okay, now the best way to answer this part is to input the school's address here. Okay, you need to input the school's address here, telling them that of course that is where you are going. It is school that you are going. F1 visa is for school and not a visitation visa, which means that even if you have a relative in the United States, I would advise you to make sure you put the school's address here. It's going to help you a lot. Okay, so the school's address, you can get it on the I-20 that is given to you by a school. You get that address and then you input them in here safely. So I'm just going to select an address from my section. All right, and then you select your state. Let me say I'm just going to select Arizona over here, and then you put in the zip code of that particular state. Okay, just going to put that. You can get this information on your I-20, so that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, all right, so now this is also another important part where you select the person that is sponsoring your trip. Okay, who is going to sponsor your trip, who is going to take care of your expenses, okay, for this particular travel. Here I am going to select an employer in the United States. Okay, think about this. If whatever thing you select here is very important, because sometimes these questions usually come up during the visa interview where they ask you who is paying for the trip or who is sponsoring the trip, right? This is very important. You should be able to recollect or remember exactly what you selected over here. Do not make the mistake and say something that contradicts with this. So if I am selecting an employer in the US, then it means that maybe I have a scholarship, I have a teaching assistantship offer or a research assistantship offer, which means that the school is sponsoring me, okay, in this particular aspect. So I'm selecting employer in the US is a perfect one, which means when I get to the visa interview and they ask me who is sponsoring or paying for my trip, I can clearly say that my employer in the United States, which is what the school that you are going to. Okay. If you are sponsoring yourself, you can always select self. Other persons, your present employer, which is maybe the current organization which you are in, or if maybe the person sponsoring you is from another organization, and you select this. Okay, but for this, I'm going to select an employer in the US, just for the fact that maybe I have a teaching assistantship or a research assistantship. Okay, good. So once I'm done with this, I'm going to click on save again. And anytime you click on save and you realize that you have this red notification here, it means that a particular portion have maybe you've skipped a particular portion, or maybe the information that you entered does not really match with what they expect. Okay. So I'm just going to go back here, and it says that zip code is invalid. You realize that the address that I entered here is somewhere in Ghana, but the zip code that I selected is in the United States, which is not really good. So I'm just going to clear this. But then you enter this, okay, as it applies to you. Check your I-20 and input the right information. Okay, so I'm just going to exit this and then click on save. Okay, so as I said, you realize that when I clicked on save, the confirmation page showed up, which means that my info has been saved successfully. I'm just going to continue application and move to the next page. Okay, so here it says that, are there other persons traveling with you? So yeah, here I'm going to say no because I'm traveling alone. If you are coming along with your spouse or your children, then you make sure you select yes. Okay, that is if you're going to apply for F2 for them, you take notes of that. So I'm just going to click on save, and then I'm going to continue quickly. And yeah, so about travel informations, here it asks that, have you ever been to the United States? You answer the one that applies to you. Have you ever been issued a US visa? I would select no. And have you ever been refused a US visa? I would say no. Has anyone ever filed an immigrant petition on your behalf with the United States? So here, I would say no. Okay. Now, some of you might be wondering, those of you who are in countries where this US lottery visa is popular, if you have ever applied for this US lottery, uh, you don't have to um, select yes if you have not been selected, or maybe you were not selected for maybe an interview or something. Okay, so even if you have applied for the lottery program before, there is no need to say yes if you have not been selected before. Okay, because once you have not been selected, it means that you are not really in their system, so you can just click on no here and then move forward. But if you have applied, um, and then maybe you've been selected and maybe something happened and you decide not to go, then I would advise you to maybe pick yes, or maybe do further research on the option that you have to maybe select over here. But the best thing is, if you have applied for the lottery before and you were not picked, you can always select no over here. All right, so I'm just going to save this and then I'll continue. Yeah, so quickly, this has to do with your address, your place that you stay currently. So you just have to enter some address that you have and enter the info that applies to you. Okay, so I'm just going to click on does not apply here quickly so that we move forward. Is your mailing address the same as your home address? I'm just going to select yes. And if you have any phone numbers, you put them there. Does not apply quickly. Have you ever used other phone numbers in the last 5 years? If that applies to you, click on yes and then you proceed and enter the details. So yeah, here they are asking for your email address, so you make sure you input your email address. Okay, I'm just going to enter this email address over here. Okay, there you go. And I'm just going to select no in this section. And here they are requesting for your social media platforms. All right, so you read the information here. It tells you that they want to be able to access some social media platforms where you upload pictures or videos uh, within the past 5 years. Okay, so here you can give them information about your Facebook, Google, Instagram, LinkedIn, or whatever social media platform that you have or you are currently active on. Okay, so you can just select some few and then you give them those details, and then you move along. All right, so I'm just going to select Facebook, for example, and maybe add some identifier, whatever name you are called on Facebook, you put that in here. All right, and if you want to, let's say, add another social media platform, the next thing you have to do is to click on add another over here. Then it's going to open another page for you where you select the other media social media platform. You're going to select LinkedIn over here, and then maybe I'll put in something. Okay, then after doing that, quickly have to answer this question here, and then you click on save. Okay, so you realize that he says that your email address is invalid. So quickly I'm just going to come here and then try to enter something reasonable. Okay, so let me say, okay, so I'm just going to enter this email address here. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, there we go. Good. Let's continue our save. Good. Now we continue to the next page. All right. Here you need to input your passport information. Here is also very important. Make sure you don't make mistakes in the digits, I mean your passport number and all the stuff. You select the passport that you are having currently. Usually it should be regular, but if you are you have any other ones, then you select that. But I'm just going to select the regular one here, and then you enter your passport number in here. Okay, so here you just have to enter your passport number, whatever digits you have. I'm just going to enter something like GTT, let's say. Yeah, some rough info over there. Okay, yeah, basically. And then for the passport book number, some countries have passport book numbers indicated on their passport, some do not. So you check, and then if it applies to you, you input it here. If it does not apply to you, then you just click on does not apply, then you move on. Okay, so the country in which your passport was issued, you can just select that country over here. The city that it was done, I'm just going to select Accra here. Now you need to state the province if it is stated on your passport. Okay, if it is shown on your passport, so you take note of that. Then you select the details that applies to it. I mean the dates that you did it and when it's going to expire. So usually you realize that it is written here that in most cases your passport or your travel document must have at least 6 months of validity before the date of your visa application. Okay, so you don't want to use a passport that would expire in the next month. You don't want to use a passport that will even expire before your visa is granted. Okay, so make sure you take notes of that. If you realize the date to the expiration of your passport is not long, you can always apply for a new one. All right, okay, so you take note of that. I'm just going to select any date here. Let's say I'm going to select 2030. Okay, and have you ever lost a passport or had a stolen one? I'm just going to say no here. Select yes if that applies to you. So I'll save this info quickly and then we'll move on. Okay, good. I'm just going to proceed quickly. Yeah, so here it is asking for your US point of contact. Here, I will advise you to check your I-20. Usually, it is indicated on the I-20, the school official that you have to call upon your arrival on campus or in the United States. Okay, so you have to put in that school's official's details over here. Okay, if you're an F1 student, this is what you have to do. It's going to help you a lot, and that is far better than putting in anybody's details here. Let's say you know somebody in the United States, you know a friend, an uncle, mother, father. Or advise you to put in the school's officials details over here. That is very important. Okay, so you just have to put in the school's officials details over here. Let's say I'm just going to enter Anna, uh let's say Anna Kill, something like that. And the name of the organization. Let's say I'm just going to enter the University of New Mexico over here. I mean the school in which your point of contact is, right? And then your relationship with that point of contact. So as I said, that person is a school official, and usually they indicate this on your I-20, so you can see that and then you select that accordingly. And once you are done, it's going to ask you for the street address. Basically, you input the address that is given on the I-20. Okay, so here make sure you put in the school's address on your I-20. The school's address in details is there. Make sure you put that in here, okay, for your US point of contact. Of course, that person is a school official, which means that the person can be found in that school, so you can input the school's address over here. Okay, quickly I'm just going to do that and then proceed. Now zip code if known. If you don't know it, you can leave it open. And then the state, I'm just going to select Arizona again. An email address does not apply. Maybe I don't know it, but if you know it, you can always put it here. Even if you don't know it, you can put the school's email address over here. Okay, that doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm just going to save this quickly and then we proceed to the next. Yeah, so here is where you provide information about your family, I mean your parents. So here it says that father's full name and date of birth. Okay, so here you can input your father's name and whatever date he or she has. So I'm just going to put D here, and let's say D tie, something like that. And the date of birth, I'm just going to select something. I said I was born 1960, so let me select 1915 here. And then, is your father in the United States? I'm just going to say no because that does not apply to me. Then here, your mom's details. I'm just going to select Thai and Tyree, something like that. And select date of birth. Let's say my mom and my dad are on the same age. Let's say 1950, probably. And you answer no or yes if that applies to you. Okay. The next thing here is, do you have any immediate relatives, not including parents, in the United States? Okay. I'm just going to select no. And if that applies to you, okay, just as I said earlier on, make sure that every information that you put in here is verifiable and it is accurate. Okay, all right. And another question here says that, do you have any relatives? I'm just going to say no. Okay, and I'm going to save that quickly and then we move on to the next thing. Let's move on to the next thing. Yeah, so here you are going to provide information about your present work, education, or your training information, right? So here it's going to ask you your primary occupation, whatever you do. If you are a teaching assistant, you select the area in which you are doing that. Whatever work you are doing, just select the area. I'm sure every area is captured over here. Okay, so during my time, I was a teaching assistant in my department, biochemistry department, back in Ghana. So biochemistry department was under the College of Agriculture and Natural Sciences, which means that it has something to do with agriculture and natural science. So I'm just going to look for natural science over here. Okay, I'm selecting that, and here you input your employer's name. Okay, if you are a teaching assistant, you input the school's name over here. If you are employed in any other organization, make sure you input the details over here. Okay, so I'm just going to put something. Let's see. Um, Basically, let me just put a name over here. Just put, let's say, university. I'm just going to put university over there, and the address and all that stuff. I'm just going to put some address over there. Okay, make sure you input the correct one in your case. Okay, and I'm going to select does not apply to all this. For those of you in Ghana, for the state or province, you can always input the region in which your employer is. Volta region, Ashanti, Greater Accra, or whatever he or she is, you put that detail over here. Okay, and then the dates that you started your work. Okay, your employment date. I'm just going to select a random date over here. Okay, and now here you input your income, your monthly income in your local currency. Okay, so I'm just going to click on does not apply, but if it applies to you, make sure you input the amount over here. Okay, Now, this is where you describe briefly your duties in your workplace. Okay, so what do you do? If you are a teaching assistant, what are the things you do? If you're an engineer, what do you do? If whatever work you are doing, just briefly describe what you do at your workplace. So I'm just going to enter anything over there, and then I'm going to save this quickly, and then we move on. All right, let's go. All right, so we're on another page here. It's asking whether we were previously employed. So the information is asking you provide your employment information for the last 5 years, okay, that you were employed if applicable. So were you employed for the last 5 years? I'm going to say no. If it applies to you, select yes. Have you entered, have you attended any educational institutions at a secondary level or above? So here, this is where you input your college information. I mean, if you have attended any form of secondary education, you can input them over here. So here you can put in your first degree, I mean your bachelor's degree information over here. Those of you who even have secondary school level information, you can even put them over here. Okay, so of course you are applying for graduate program, which means that you have some form of qualification. So obviously means that you attended some level, you have some level of education. Okay, so I'm just going to select yes over here, and then here you input your educational informations and all that. Make sure it is correct and it is verifiable. Okay, now for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to select no to this, and then I'll save it and proceed to the next page. Okay, good. And additional information about that. So, do you belong to a clan or a tribe? If that applies to you, you say yes. If that doesn't apply to you, select no. And then here, I'm going to ask you to list the languages that you speak. Okay, so I'm just going to say English. If you have another language that you speak, you can click on add and then you input that language here. In this case, I can say Ewe. Ewe is a language for a particular tribe in the Volta region of Ghana. Yeah, so I'm just going to enter this here quickly, and I'll continue to answer the rest of the questions. Make sure you read very well before you select. Okay, so here it says that have you traveled to any country before? If you are selecting yes, make sure you have evidence for that. Okay, so I'm just going to select no to this. Have you belonged to or contributed or worked in any professional? If that applies to you, you can always say yes. So you read, and I'm just going to click through this, and then we move on quickly. Okay, now moving on to the next page. Security background. This is very important. Okay, do not select anything if you don't understand what you read. Okay, make sure you understand what you are reading and know exactly what you are selecting. This page is very important. Okay, do not select anything if you don't understand what you are reading. Try as much as possible to understand what you have read before you select yes or no to any of this. Okay, because it's very important. If you don't understand, make sure you try, ask somebody, find out, and come back and select what applies to you. Okay, so here, because I have already read through before, I'm just going to select no to this, click on save, and then I'm going to continue quickly. I'm just going to click on save here. So imagine I haven't read, okay, and I just select yes to this particular question, which says that have you ever been involved in or do you seek to engage in money laundering, which is not good, you know. And if you select yes, it might go against you in the decision making process. All right, so basically make sure you read as much as possible before you select um, anything. Okay, all right, I'm just gonna go through this quickly. I've read all this already, so I'm just gonna select no to all this. Mm. No, no, no. Yep, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna proceed quickly. Uh, oh, this is too much. Come on. Yeah. So we have another platform here. It says that additional points of contact. Here, let's read the information over. It says that you have indicated that you will be studying in some form of capacity in the United States, right? Now, list at least 2 contacts in your country of residence who can verify the information that you have provided on this application. Do not list immediate family members or other relatives. Postal office box numbers are not acceptable. So, all the information that you have provided, you need to list some people that can verify this information in case they need to be verified. All right. And here, remember, you don't have to put in the details of your father or your mother, your uncle, your immediate relatives. No, this does not apply to them. Here, you can look for your supervisors, ask them about the fact that you want to use their details for this form. If they agree, you use it. Okay. Make sure you let the person know before you input their details over here so that in case they need to confirm something, you don't get disappointed. Okay. So basically, you look for somebody, your supervisor, or someone who is not your immediate family member and who can verify that these informations here are actually correct. Okay. So you just look for that person, and then maybe you input the details over here. I'm just going to put some names over here. Let's say um, to I, and then I'm just going to select a street address for them. Does not apply quickly. um, does not apply. The person, if you don't know the person's email address, you don't have to worry. Okay, it says 2 people. Okay, so I'm just gonna input some things here and quickly remove through. Does not apply, does not apply, does not apply, does not apply, and save. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to move to the other page. SEVIS information. Here, you need to input this information as accurately as possible. When you're entering this number, you have to be very careful. Okay, this SEVIS number or SEVIS ID, you are going to find it on your I-20. It is located at the immediate top of your I-20. Once you open your I-20, at the top, the first thing you're going to see is your SEVIS number. And you need to make sure you put that in here as accurately as possible. I'm just going to enter exactly what is here. So I'm just going to enter, uh, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I'm just going to put a letter here. Yeah, something like that. Just make sure you're entering the right thing. And then additional information about the school and all these things are on your I-20. That is why it is very important you get your I-20 before you complete this part. Okay, and you make sure that whatever information you're putting here is very correct. All right, so I'm just going to put any kind of detail here and quickly select a state. I'm going to select Arizona again, and just going to put something, then I'm going to save it. Okay, you see I did not select something here. It says that course of study has not been completed. So here, what program are you going to read in the United States or where the school you are going? So I'm just going to select chemistry or something. I'm going to save this and then we continue. All right. Now here is the part where you upload your passport size picture. Okay, the photo that you took. This is where you upload it. Now the photo that you need to use over here has some details that you need to make sure um, uh, applies to your photo. Okay, if not, it would be rejected. Oh, so make sure you just click on this upload photo button, and then it's going to take you to this platform where you can read the requirements of the image that you need to upload and make sure it is respecting the standard of this particular application. Okay, and once you are able to do that successfully, you select the file and upload the picture. And once you are done with that, it's going to give you a confirmation page. Now you need to make sure you save and print that confirmation page because you are going to need it. Make sure every information that you input here is very correct so that when they ask you during your visa interview, you don't say something that contradicts with the information that you placed over here. Make sure everything that you put here is correct. Okay, that is why I would advise that you don't let somebody complete this form for you. Make sure you complete this form on your own. These are basically your personal details, and you don't have to let somebody complete this for you. Okay, when you complete this form on your own, it's going to give you some kind of edge over whatever information that you have provided in here. It's going to give you that kind of confidence with regards to the information that are here and when you are being asked, you will be able to answer them, of course, because you know that you completed the form and you placed all the informations in all the sections. All right, thank you very much for watching this video. If you follow all the instructions given to you in this video, I'm very much sure that you are going to crash it through this visa application process. All right, so make sure you do everything accordingly. And if you have any questions, don't forget to reach out through the comment section and put your comments over there. I'll address them accordingly. Don't forget to also subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and also share the video for your colleagues to also have access to. Thank you. I'll see you.